Ron Jaworski now joining us. MuellerSportsMed.com, the handy gym. We've heard about this a couple of times. Ron, welcome into the show, sir. How are you?
Jason. Doing fantastic, thank you. Thanks for mentioning the Mueller product that I'm promoting here at the Super Bowl week.
Yes.
It's the smallest gym in the world. How's that? The smallest gym in the world.
It does not look like a gym. It looks like something you could use as a weapon.
It is a gym. It's a resistance gym. Weighs 2 pounds. It's fantastic. Weighs 2 pounds. You get 220 pounds of resistance. Get up in the morning, go for your workout, throw the thing in the suitcase, move on to your next city, and you feel great.
That's awesome.
Right. How's that?
You just do a quick workout between your next cities when you're going and talking.
It helps my golf swing, too. I don't have to worry about throwing the football anymore. That's right. That was the dark ages.
Yes.
Now I work on my golf swing, It's perfect. Perfect for a functional golf swing as well.
That is awesome. Former Chiefs quarterback Ron Jaworski.
I'm glad I like to get in there because I like to mention that 89 season. I ended my career with the Kansas City Chiefs with Marty Schottenheimer as our head coach, and it was an absolutely amazing experience. We lived out in Overland Park, myself, my wife, 3 kids, and we have nothing but great memories about Kansas City. So I know everyone's disappointed with the result this year, but boy, it sure was fun a couple years ago when winning the Super Bowl.
It really, and you know what? It was one heck of a first half in the AFC Championship game. Can you, Jaws, you break down the film, you do all, can you explain, because we're trying to figure it out, what happened in the second half?
Yeah, I can explain it to you. I watched it on TV like everyone else did, and obviously the play, just before the half was, one of those deflating kind of plays. You could blame it on Andy, you could blame it on Patrick, you could blame it on Tyreek Hill, you could blame it on anybody you want, but the fact is, I don't think they ever should have called play. You take your 3 points, get in there at halftime, and it was being overly aggressive. And I know Andy preaches that. I love Andy, but sometimes you get over-aggressive, and I think they did in that point. But more shocking to me was, and the wonk I am for the film room.
Yeah.
The next day I went through that game, and I was really, really shocked at the poor performance of Patrick Mahomes in that second half. I'm telling you, shocked, because I look at all the Chiefs games, and I love Patrick Mahomes. The second half of that game, I don't know if he got spooked by that play before the half, but he wasn't seeing the field with clarity. Mm-hmm. His fundamental mechanics broke down. He was throwing off balance. He was, and we sometimes give him a lot of credit throughout his career. He's made plays that way. But to be consistent week in and week out, play in and play out, you got to have proper fundamentals, mechanics. He lost them in the second half of that game. It was not a typical Patrick Mahomes performance. You've seen what he can do. It was not, and he was not good in that second half. And I don't want to lay it on Patrick Mahomes, but the majority of it was. He had some people open that he didn't see, and he didn't hit them.
Yeah, we've talked a lot about that 3rd and goal from the 9. Yeah. It looked like he had Kelsey open, and and then it looked like he had Byron Pringle open, and then when he rolled to his right, it looked like he had Byron Pringle open again, and then he didn't decide to throw it 3 different times.
Yeah, one to Kelsey was an easy read. They had wide receiver going up, taking the linebacker right up to the hole. Chuck Kelsey comes underneath. He's right there. And he's what always puzzles me is I've seen him make that play. I don't know how many times.
In his sleep. Linebacker's there. This is the read. That's Kelsey.
Bang, bang. Here, it's either or. Either you're going over the top or you're going underneath, depending on what the defender will do. He goes high, you go low. Just didn't see it. That's also, that's what's mind-boggling about the quarterback position, because he's done it so many times, and there it is. It was, it was plain as daylight.
People can have bad halves of football. They can have a rough game. Nobody's going to be perfect. They're not robots out there, right? What's also surprising and a takeaway from that is the newcomers, the Bengals, that are they ready for the stage? The Chiefs, been there, done that, played in back-to-back Super Bowls. This is like old hat for them. They're not going to be, worried about it. They're the ones that lost their nerve. Yeah. Like that to me is one of the bigger takeaways and realities of what happened is that the Bengals stayed focused and with their game plan, and the Chiefs just lost.
It's funny you say that, because I look at the game tape, and with the game tape, I see both sidelines as well. Mm-hmm. And you could see all the players on the sideline, all the coaches. And it was crystal clear as I'm watching the game. When they go back to give you the down and distance, I'd see one bench and the other side of the bench, the other team's bench. Mm-hmm. The excitement, the enthusiasm on the Cincinnati sideline was obvious. It was obvious. They were up. They were on the sideline. They were cheering their team on. Every play, they were there. Yeah. It wasn't the same on the Chiefs sideline. It wasn't. Now, I'm not saying that's why, but you could see, you mentioned it. It seemed like the Bengals had the energy, they had the emotion. And when I look, I said, damn, look at them. They're fired up on that sideline. And hey, that's not why you win or lose, but it certainly says something about how Zach Taylor had that team prepared, how their offensive defense coordinators had their team prepared. And by the way, they did a great job of understanding what the Chiefs are trying to do as well. I was being a little negative on Patrick there because he did not play well, but they also had figured out the scheme by then as well. They did a really good job with trying to figure out what the Chiefs are doing, and they did, and they made some adjustments in the second half.
Why hasn't the Bengals defense gotten enough credit for what they did in the postseason?
This secondary in Cincinnati may be the best secondary in football. They've gotten literally no credit. They don't blitz. They'll rush. They'll even rush 3 a lot, which is putting a lot more pressure.
They did that in the second half against the Chiefs.
You got to cover a long time. But the secondary, I mean, I think it might be overall the best secondary in football. And they play smart. They understand what the offense is trying to do, what their packages are. And like I said a moment ago, the first half, I thought they made some mistakes. The second half against Kansas City, they adjusted to the mistakes they made in the first half and didn't give any of the Chiefs receivers some breathing room. Now, there were a few, and I thought Patrick missed them. Yeah. They played the crossers, the shallow crossers, the deep crossers. They played them really, really well.
Ron Jaworski is our guest. What do you make of this matchup then coming up on Sunday?
Yeah, I think we're in for a great game, and I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I think both coaches are going to be aggressive because they can be because they've got great core. I mean, look at Jamar Chase the year he's having. I mean, Cooper Kupp. I mean, I hate to talk about what I do, but I look at the tape and I say, you can double cover these guys all you want. They're going to win. Jamar Chase is going to beat double coverage. Cooper Kupp's going to beat double coverage. The talent at the wide receiving position in this game is amazing, as well as the quarterback play. It'll come down to can the Bengals' offensive line handle the defensive line of the Rams. But Joe Burrow gets the ball in his hand quick enough. I think they can compromise that and not allow Aaron Donald and Von Miller to wreak havoc on Joe Burrow all day.
What did teams miss? Maybe miss isn't the right word, but not see enough of in Cooper Kupp for him. You talk about the wide receiver talent. T. Higgins, first pick of the second round. Tyler Boyd, second rounder, and then of course Odell Beckham Jr. and Jamar Chase were top 20 picks, top 10 there. But Cooper Kupp's the one that's been a surprise, and he might be the best wide receiver in this game.
I wish some of the analysts that have been covering the Rams this season would mention more of Cooper Kupp blocking.
Interesting.
Blocking.
Okay.
I mean, I look at the tape and say, he's there in that ace position, which is just outside the tight end. He's knocking people down, and they're not defensive backs. He's blocking defensive ends and linebackers. So, he'll do the dirty work as well as get the glory of catching touchdown passes. I love a guy like that. So I wish someone would give him some credit for something we don't talk enough about, his willingness to go in and knock people out as a blocker.
Ron Jaworski is our guest. One quick one for you before we get your prediction. As it relates to the Chiefs, one of the things we've talked about is priorities for the Chiefs in the offseason this year. Wide receiver 2 has been talked about a lot. Opposite Tyreek Hill, somebody to go and, T. Higgins would be nice. It's somebody that I would have liked the Chiefs to draft. They took Clyde Edwards-Helaire. It's in the past, right? You can't go back and
you can't draft everybody, Jason.
Right, I know. They can't go back and redo that, right? It would have been fine. Yeah. But so what would, in your mind, somebody opposite Tyreek Hill that could be an outlet for Patrick just to say, you know what, I'm going to throw it up to that guy. He's going to go make a play. Because Kelsey can do that, but there's not a player on this team that you can go, you know what, back shoulder guy or throw a fade, and this guy's going to go up and get it. What would that do for this offense and Patrick Mahomes?
It would do a lot. You mentioned, you talk about Jamar Chase. He's got the complimentary receivers. You look at Cooper Kupp. He's got a complimentary receiver. Yeah. Every great receiver needs that compliment. So if he's getting double coverage, you can get it off by having another guy that's going to take some heat. You want to have as many. Well, if you're the Chiefs, the way Andy likes to play, you want as many wide receivers you could possibly have on that roster.
Yeah.
I know there's disappointment in Kansas City, but man, this is still a really good football team, a really good team, a dynamic football team, and they'll be back in the hunt next year.
If you're guessing, how many Super Bowls does Patrick win?
I think he's got a chance to win 3 or 4.
Okay.
I mean, things got to go.
It's a chance, and that's the thing. It's a chance. You don't know what's going to happen.
So much success early.
Right.
People think this game is hard.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to win week in and week out. It's even harder to get to the Super Bowl and win it. I was fortunate. I got to 1. I lost it in 17 years.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard work, and sometimes even the hard work doesn't get it done. Sometimes the good fortune has a lot to do with it.
I mean, Patrick's been to 2, and Aaron Rodgers and Dan Marino have combined for 2.
And there you go.
You never really know what's going to take place. Ron Jaworski is our guest with MuellerSportsMed.com and the Handy Gym. Ron, you're the man. I really appreciate it.
I'm going to get my workout in, Jason.
As you should, man. I don't know. You got enough energy to burn off here.